Welcome once again to Musings by Danon. I wanted to talk a bit about a light novel I finished reading not too long ago, especially since Volume 2 of that series releases Tuesday, February 1st in paperback, or you can pick up a digital copy on Bookwalker right now. Before we get started, please like and subscribe. The light novel is titled Disciple of the Lich, or How I Was Cursed by the Gods and Dropped into the Abyss, by Nikoko. I pitched this series to Gigak based on two simple points: an isekai where the entire world is built around people getting isekai'd, and a Tsundere Lich. He was sold. The series begins with our protagonist, Kanata, suddenly whisked away to some kind of celestial amphitheater. Apparently, the gods heard about this whole isekai craze and thought it sounded like a grand idea. So they created an entire world, a world with history, people, laws, magic, demons, monsters, and heroes, for the sole purpose of pulling people from Earth for their own entertainment. One of the lesser gods, Nerotop, has chosen Kanata and congratulates him. After all, Kanata was just a NEET living at home with no friends, so this is the chance of a lifetime. Nerotop offers Kanata any wish, any ability, magic item, whatever his heart desires. Kanata wants to go home. After all, he's worried about his cat. This enrages Nerotop, so he banishes Kanata deep into Koikotus, an ancient and vile dungeon filled with the most dangerous creatures in the world. The only powers granted to Kanata were the ability to comprehend the language of the New World and the identify skill. So poor Kanata was able to see that the mimic pretending to be a wall that suddenly bit his arm off was level 1381, while he was just level 1. Enter Lunare, our titular Lich. She doesn't care if Kanata lives or dies.
Baka?
In fact, she doesn't like humans at all. But she supposes it would be annoying if he were to keep screaming. So she heals him. I guess heal is the wrong word. Lunare rewinds time so that the wound never happened. Shocked, Kanata tries to use his identify skill on her, but it fails. After a few more encounters, Lunare comes to realize how pathetic Kanata is and decides to help him level up, so he can at least not die instantly in Koikotus. She hates humans, but she supposes she can help him out, if he insists. She even offers to cook him dinner, but fails spectacularly. Kanata gets the feeling that even though Lunare hates humans, she is lonely for companionship. After all, the only thing she's had to talk to for hundreds of years is a legendary class mimic in the form of a begemmed chest. But Lunare insists otherwise.
Baka.
So begins Kanata's power leveling. Power leveling is a term that should be familiar to anyone who has played any MMORPG. Basically, a high-level character drags a low-level character through a ton of content at an accelerated pace. Normally, when you have a high-level character and a low-level character in the same party, there's an experience point penalty, so they only get a fraction of the normal XP they would get if they were on their own. However, because the high-level character can kill monsters hundreds of times faster, it ends up being a fairly quick way to level. In this case, Lunare started out by summoning golems and watching over Kanata as he killed them. They did this for a few weeks until Kanata reached level 136, which is about what Lunare suggested he needed in order to survive.
No, I don't think you should go yet. You need to be stronger. I know. Let's go to the Netherworld.
So the Tsundere Lich pulls out a magic mirror that is a portal to the Dark Realms, filled with an untold number of high-level demons. Kanata dies almost instantly, but is revived by a magic pendant. He spends the next few months going into this hellscape, trying to tag monsters with his weak magic, so that when Lunare finishes them off with her impossibly high-level spells, he at least gets some XP. Eventually, she decides Kanata is high enough level to survive on his own. 4,122 should be a high enough level, right? After all, the highest level person he meets in the outside world ends up only being around 180, so 4,000 should be fine, I suppose. This series is a lot of fun, because it's kind of the opposite of a fish out of water trope. You have an overpowered MC who is overpowered not because of some cheat ability they were granted upon reincarnation. It is an earned skill. Unlike Isekai Cheat Magician or Didn't I Say to Make My Abilities Average in the Next Life, where the characters are simply gifted their powers, Kanata literally went through hell in order to become as skilled and powerful as he is. Which got me thinking, what other anime or manga have I read that are similar? The first one that comes to mind is the recently aired Faraway Paladin. The anime just finished airing, so I think I can talk about some minor spoilers from the series. Will is reincarnated in a fantasy realm and raised by 3 undead who train him. a mummy cleric who teaches him piety and about the gods, an archmage who teaches him magic but also not to rely on magic, and a skeleton warrior who swings around a greatsword as if it were a dagger. He spends 15 years living with these creatures, training every day to become William eventually leaves the city of the dead and travels the land as a paladin. In his travels, he hears legends and songs about the three heroes from 200 years ago who sealed away a great evil. It turns out that he was being raised and trained in piety and religious studies by Galahad, being taught magic by Merlin, and being taught the sword by Lancelot. Will, despite being nervous about traveling on his own, finds the world rather easy. And who wouldn't? What could possibly challenge you? I mean, you took out an entire dungeon of demons by yourself and took down a wyvern by breaking its neck while wrestling with it. There's not going to be many challenges for you. At the same time, I wouldn't consider Faraway Paladin to have an overpowered main character. He isn't granted some cheat ability when he arrives in the new world. His strength is earned through hard work. His magical abilities were not simply gifted to him, he studied every day for years. His humility and piety were also earned from daily prayer and meditation. Yes, he happened to be raised by the shade of 3 legendary adventurers, but all of his power came from hard work and dedication, not some random cheat ability. Another series similar to this is The Little Girl Raised by Death Holds the Sword of Darkness in Her Arms, by Maito Saimini. Olivia is a young, silver-haired girl with a bright smile and an innocent expression on her face. Her smile covers the fact that deep down she's saddened that she was abandoned by her foster father, Zed. Zed is also the god of death. He found Olivia when she was a baby and raised her the best he could. He also taught her combat, and that the thing men crave most is the heads of their enemies. Before departing, Zed tells Olivia to join the kingdom in order to fight against the Empire. The Empire has been trying to take over the entire continent, and the kingdom is the last bastion standing against them. And they're losing. But can this sweet and adorable little girl, who is also an unstoppable killing machine, turn the tide of battle? Maybe, but only if she develops some common sense first. The reason we like series like these is because the powers of the characters were earned through hard work and dedication. And that seems to be the difference between a lot of the simple wish fulfillment fantasy isekai and the ones where a character works hard to get where they're at. Sure, Will, Kanata, and Olivia are all overpowered protagonists, but because we get to see the training they went through, we forgive them for their overpowered nature. If you know of any other series like these, where you have an overpowered protagonist who earned their power the old-fashioned way, please leave a comment below. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cute Stuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, there's a link to her Fiverr page below. Please like and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you all again next time.